Which ring?
Sunday.
What?
Sunday.
Which ring?
What ring do you think?
Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
The one with Mickey on it?
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Morning, everybody.
The ring with Mickey. Who would be interested in that? Nobody.
Oh my God.
They might. You just never know.
Somebody might.
He's gonna wait till Sunday, and he's gonna wait until I see that there's watchers. And
I haven't got my new bottle of silver polish. I'm completely out.
oh yeah, that's right.
I haven't even got enough to do one little bitty Disney ring.
Wow.
Did you cut the bottle open like I told you?
No.
See, you'd have enough to do it.
Why you don't listen to Bridget? God, you got to be difficult, Todd.
And why don't you just go to the store and get some polish?
Because they don't sell the kind that I like.
Oh.
But
They
right,
have,
Nikki,
they have some, but it's no good.
if you cut the bottle open, there's going to be stuff on the side that you can still use.
Yeah.
If I cut the bottom open, if I cut my ass open, then no. If I tried to cut the bottle open, I would probably cut my ass open in the process.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my God!
And plus, it's way too much work for Todd. So.
And it's no fun to have your it's no fun to have your ass cut open.
No, Nikki knows.
My God. Oh man.
Firsthand.
Too soon?
Sorry, Nikki, I wasn't making a reference to your recent holiday.
No. I said it. No, don't worry about it.
Oh God, Nikki has a good sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? You either laugh or you cry, right?
Right.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, my sugar's 124 right now. And I haven't seen it that low in probably ever.
Ever.
Is that good? I mean, I don't
good though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay.
For a raging diabetic like her, that's really, really good numbers.
But I don't feel good. That's the thing.
Well, you just have to. It's a different normal now because you just have to get used to it. You know.
Right. And it's a different medication you're on, so of course it's gonna affect you.
Yeah.
It'll take you a minute to get used to it. I'm sure.
You've been so used to them high levels that now, so your body was used to it, but now you just have to get used to the lower levels. That's all.
Yeah.
So that's really good. I mean, if you can keep your sugars down as close to 100 as possible, you know, that's going to be so good for you.
Yeah.
You know,
and I won't have to take this medication that long if I keep it under 140.
Oh, good.
So
that's good. Yeah.
Well, and the more weight you lose too, the better it'll be. You know?
Yeah.
And don't eat like a lot of, junk food and stuff like that.
But the high sugars, even if they're normal for you, they're still high. And when you have those high sugars, and I'm sure you know this, that just infection feeds on that. It screws with your kidneys. It screws with your blood pressure. It screws with everything.
Yeah.
You know, the high sugars just deteriorate your body. So if the lowest you can keep it, as long as it doesn't. But
last night, I was telling Bridget and Kathy, I took my metformin in the morning yesterday, which I'm supposed to do, and then I took it again, or I took that shot, and then I took metformin again last night before I went to work, and that almost seemed to put me over the edge. Yeah. And I felt like I was tied to a truck all night.
Yeah. Well, you have to get used to it,
Yeah, you do.
Ugh.
But eventually, you keeping those numbers down is going to, in the long run, make you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not going to mess with your body, and it'll give your kidneys a rest, and You know, you
Right.
probably won't pee as much, because I bet you pee a lot with those high numbers, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Hank.
Because if you're
Get her
not
cleaned up.
diabetic, you're supposed to be under 100. But if you
Yeah.
are diabetic, you're supposed to keep it lower than what, 140, I think, or somewhere around there.
Well, what she told me was that if I wanted to be off the, I mean, it's a insulin is what I'm on, and like, but it's called Victoza. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but she said it's 2-tiered to where it lowers your sugar and it also helps you lose weight.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, she said to get off of that insulin type medicine, I need to keep my sugars under 140.
Yeah.
So,
And that's your ultimate goal, so keep going.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really did not even want to get on this. She really had to push me to do that. And then I couldn't believe the insurance paid for it.
That's good.
It's $1,000.
Yeah.
3 pens. So
How long do the pens last you? What, about a month's
8
worth?
8. Yeah, I think there's 8 doses in each. Yeah, I think there's 8. So 20.
24.
Yeah. 24 days. So
$1,000 for not even a month's worth of pills
That's crazy.
or shots. I mean,
That's just.
that's what this world is doing to us. You know.
Yep. And that's it.
yeah. I think I should just quit all my pills and smoke pot.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's going to help you with the diabetes, but you'll feel better. Cheetos,
No, doesn't need Cheetos.
ding dongs, and ho hos, cookies, and ice cream, and brownies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you still working on the weight loss surgery?
I'm thinking about it, but my doctor, I don't know. My doctor's kind of all over the place with that because she's leaving. She's retiring in January. So she's not going to be, involved in that at all. And I mean, she put the referral in for me, but I kind of have to I have to go to some appointments and stuff for it, and I kind of am dragging my feet on it.
Well, don't you have to go to that? They make you go to like the psychiatrist and kind of talk to somebody, and then your diabetes have to be under.
You have to have 2 nutritionist appointments, and you have to have 2 psychiatry appointments.
Yeah, and I think that those are ones who try to lose like so much weight and then have whatever health problems under control, and there's a lot you have to do for. I have a friend that had it done, and she ended up having a baby. She ended up gaining the weight back. She has a lot of problems, but she had it done years and years ago, so it's totally different now.
She has a lot of problems too.
And she constantly have to take heartburn pills, and then like her stomach, she gets real bad sick all the time. But like I said, she had hers like when it first came out done, so it's changed.
My dad had his about probably 10, 12 years ago. Anyway, he's in his 60s anyways, and he hasn't had any problems.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I think it depends on, because you do have to watch your vitamin regimen. You have to do a lot of vitamins, and the friend I have, she didn't do her vitamins the way she was supposed to, and I think that's sick.
I honestly believe if my dad did not have that surgery, he would have been dead by now.
Yeah.
He was 375. His biggest was 475, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, he's down around the 200, 220 range, somewhere around in there. He fluctuates, up and down, but he stays right around the 220, 230 range. And yeah, I mean, it's been wonderful for him.
Yeah, my mom lost about 150 pounds, and she did really well with the weight loss surgery, but she ended up dying of cancer.
Right.
But she, I mean, like, she thrived. I mean, there were certain things that she couldn't eat, and like as soon as she would eat it, she'd be like, "Oh, I can't have this.
Yeah.
I can't have it. I'm gonna throw up, or I'm gonna shit myself." Basically.
In the beginning, it's a learning curve for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, she did a lot of slim fast and stuff like that. She did just to keep her vitamins up and nutrition up. Because she couldn't hardly eat anything. And because she'd take one bite and she'd be like, "Okay, I'm done."
Yeah.
Because your stomach's like a quarter of a cup, and
like I told you guys before that, my dad would end up gulping too fast, drinking, and then he'd eat too big of mouthfuls, and he would end up, vomiting. And I bought him a sippy cup and baby utensils.
Mm-hmm.
And that taught him to sip instead of gulping, and it taught him to eat little bites instead of big bites,
Right.
Yeah. And even now, if he eats too much or too fast or something, he'll still get that, and sometimes he has to get rid of it, or it's blocking him, But once he gets rid of it, then he's fine. And that only happens occasionally. That's only if, he overdoes it or whatever. But his body definitely tells him, "Hey, you had too much."
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, she said, since you're already, doing pretty well losing weight by yourself, let's try this, and that can probably help you too.
yeah.
So I've lost 30 pounds since June.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
great.
good.
That is good.
Keep up the good work, lady.
Mm-hmm.
thanks.
Definitely.
Deb says, "I've lost 2 pant sizes in this year, but still need to lose more. It's not easy to lose the weight." Nope. And the more you got, the harder it is to keep it off.
Hey,
It
David.
seems like the older you get, it's harder too. Because I know I don't lose weight like I used to.
Right.
No.
Especially doing this here, being home all day long.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
sitting all day. Yeah.
I have to get up, move around. It's like sometimes you forget to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever the two pants size that you lost, I found them for you.
Yeah. Good job, Deb.
That is good. Yeah, winter's coming too. Oh my God. Morning, David and Jennifer.
That's the days when I was skinny and my pants would feel a little tight, and I'd be like, "Oh man, I better not eat too much today." And I just not eat some candy or whatever, and I just just not eat as much that day. And yeah, a couple days later, my pants would fit fine again. It's like, God, I miss those days.
No.
So I'll run around the block a few times that day, or whatever.
Look at them now. You're getting like 20 pounds.
Yeah, my pants aren't tight anymore. I miss those days.
I figure it this way. I'm just harder to do that now. That's all that it is.
Yeah.
Can't throw me in the van now.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
Oh, my pants feel tight all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I just wear sweatpants.
I wear yoga pants, so don't worry.
Leggings.
Yoga pants.
They grow
Actually,
with
it's gonna be 40 today. I'm wearing shorts today.
Oh God.
you. You are crazy. You are nuts.
Shorts and a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that wreck I was sending y'all in the chat yesterday that we were watching. Did you see that? The bus wreck that I was showing y'all?
Yes.
They had ended up having 2 people who died in it.
Oh, that's
I
a
guess at
shame.
the hospital. Yeah, because we was watching it and listening to it on the scanner, and they had some school buses. They had transported everybody out. They got them out pretty quick, but I guess 2 people had passed away at the hospital. But there was like 47
Wow.
people in that bus.
Wow.
Yeah, it was interesting to see because watching the MDOT cameras and seeing them go through there. But oh Lord, they have some retarded drivers here in Mississippi.
Yeah.
If you have a cop at the turnoff, like because they have a straightaway, or you can take that U up to the ramp. If you have a cop sitting at the ramp and you see the lights and you see all this light action over here on the side, and you're still going to pull up behind the cop and try to go around him, I'm like, oh Lord, Mississippi people,
Yeah.
please stop. You're killing me.
Yeah. It's
But
so dumb.
It made the Fox News, though. We saw it this morning on the Fox News. I was like, we watched that yesterday live. But it was weird when we first started watching it because they had like different directions, and there was these 3 cars, this truck coming over the bridge, and you see the truck overturn, and you can see the little car slide. And I'm like, I told Marcel, I'm watching the TV. Now, no, they can't hear me, of course, but I'm watching TV. Here comes this truck, and you see it slide, and you got the workers were behind the bus, so they can't see the truck. The cop can. I'm screaming at the TV, move, move, move. Marcel goes, hey, dumbass, they can't hear you.
I know.
They all started running. I guess the cop had saw it, told them to run.
I do stuff like that all the time, Gary. It's like, they can't hear you, but I can.
Out like, what the world is wrong with you, crazy lady?
Well, I told you guys yesterday about that time in Oregon when we were crashing into each other at the terminal, just sitting there, and the wind was blowing so hard, and it was blowing the trucks into each other.
That's insane.
That's how slippery it was.
Well, as I told you, when it gets wet here or starts to ice up a little bit, these people think that they're in NASCAR, and they think they can go over these bridges going 100 miles an hour, or they can do it.
Yeah.
Ding dong, stop.
In case anybody out there doesn't know, bridges are the first things to freeze. So if you're driving along a roadway and it's not slippery, you're like, oh, everything's fine. Do not think that bridge is not going to be slippery, because it most likely will be. Because the reason is, I mean, obviously you guys are adults, you probably should know this, but some people don't think about it. There's nothing underneath bridges.
Right.
Whereas the roadway is insulated. A bridge is not. There's air flowing underneath the bridge, which is freezing the bridge faster than the roadway. So just think about it. If you're going over a bridge,
don't be a dumbass.
Start slow and increase,
It's just, they have signs. It's like, hello, hello.
Mm-hmm.
And since Nikki's on the road more than all the rest of us put together, we need to listen to Nikki.
That's right. I'm a trained professional, damn it. They even gave me a license for it. No. But no, seriously, I mean, people, and then like all these idiots with 4-wheel drive, they think if they go out there driving with their 4-wheel drive that it's going to help on ice. It doesn't. 4-wheel drive is for snow and mud and stuff. It is not for ice.
Nope. Once you're on the ice and you are slipping, nothing will help you.
Exactly.
Except grit. You need some grit.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I lived down in southern Minnesota, we used to get ice all the time down there. And it was so slippery. I mean, people were just sliding sideways. And I kept my passenger side tires a little bit on the edge of the road where there was dirt still.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I drove all the way home. And when there was like an intersection, I just took it real easy and to get to the next piece of dirt. you know.
Do you want to hear something
Yeah.
funny about the ice on bridges? Because I heard Kathy say that they have signs for that. I never saw one of those signs till I get to the Mid-South. Oh,
Yeah.
we don't have those signs. Now,
Really?
I'm like, why do they have these ices on bridges before road? Like, well, duh. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
never seen them until you get to about Kentucky. I've never seen
Yeah.
those guys before. Anyway, just kind of
Yeah,
funny.
there's no signs up here on our bridges, but I suppose up here they probably figure we should know that.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes
You know?
people think like with four-wheel drive, like, but
Yeah.
four-wheel drive, it gets you through stuff like deep snow and that. But yeah, you
Yeah.
hit your brakes in four-wheel drive, you're gonna go right into a skid. It's not like
Yeah.
driving in mud. When you hit your brakes in mud, you stop. On snow and ice, you do not stop.
Yeah.
My neighbor is from North Dakota, and he hates it when we get ice because he says it's out of control and people drive like they're insane down here. And he said, you know, he doesn't like getting out on the ice because it's ice and you don't have any control when you hit a sheet of ice. He said, we always had powder on the ground up there, so you never had to worry about a slick surface like that. But it drives him crazy. But yeah, if you're a good old boy and you got a four-wheel drive, you can go through anything.
Yeah.
True that, but don't hit the brakes hard or you will be sliding all over the place.
That is a good point. You will go through anything. Side rails, the meridian.
Yeah, exactly. And on a bridge, there's nowhere else to go but down.
Off the edge of the bridge. You will go places.
At least on a roadway, you got a ditch. You got a chance, but not on a bridge.
My friend has, well, actually, it's my wife's friend. She's got a picture on her wall of her pulling a Chevy four-wheel drive out of a ditch with her geo tracker. Because the conditions was just to the point where that four-wheel drive would not come out of the ditch by itself. All it needed just was a little pressure on it. And it was,
yeah.
But she's got that picture of it, and she gives everybody hell about it.
I would too. That's funny.
You know, geo tracker. Y'all know what those are.
Yeah.
Those are those little
those little wimpy SUV things.
Yeah.
And I'll
But
tell you
they're
something
so
else.
good on gas.
I had a CJ7. When it's on its roof, the four-wheel drive doesn't do any good.
My daughter got in a fight with a semi on the bridge with a geo tracker one time.
Cool stuff.
He was on the losing end, by the way.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's
She was okay, but she was pretty bruised up, pretty bad. And the tracker ended up losing in the long run.
Jim, I had a CJ5.
Oh yeah.
And I got into the most trouble with that CJ5. Me and my 4 friends that also had CJ5s.
Jim is a cheap guy. He won't give me. He's got a pair of CJ7s. He's got to rebuild, and I'm like, why don't you just sell them and go get a different one? And he won't let them go. We also got
to Kentucky with you.
I said let's get rid of it, but he'll make me take it.
Well, divorce, I understand. I mean, two people that they don't get along and they just have to go their separate ways. I understand that happens. But why someone sells their Jeep CJ, I've never been able to understand that.
Exactly.
I love Jeeps, Jim. I'm right with you.
I love my Jeep.
Yeah.
I will say this though: my brother had a Suzuki Samurai, and on the snow, that damn Suzuki Samurai actually will outrun a Jeep all day long. They don't weigh anything. They just pop right up on top of the hard packed snow, and they just go. Where your Jeep is actually like a heavier vehicle, will sink down in the snow. I will say those Samurais on snow, they're like a snowshoe rabbit.
We got a Scout too, actually.
And when you flip them over, you just get out. You and your buddy just get out of the Samurai and just tip it back up on its wheels, and you go.
Do you like the Jeep better than the Scout?
Yeah, because the Jeep's skinnier. The Scout's too wide. But it makes it harder to tip over.
Yeah.
But this Jeep, you can get through trees. If you're driving through the woods. But I'd say their four-wheel driving stuff is comparable.
My family's always had Fords because my dad likes Fords, and my uncle likes Chevrolets, and they all last the same amount of time. If you don't take care of them, you don't change the oil in them, service them like they're going to go it down the tube.
Yeah, I'm a Chevy person. I prefer Chevys. I've just always been a GM person. It's my thing. It's my team. I've had Fords. I can't complain about Fords. Actually, only thing I'll say is I never thought the interior on a Ford was quite as nice as the interior on a Chevy truck. I'll tell you what truck I don't like, and no offense to anybody, Dodge trucks, because I've had too many friends that have trouble with the transmissions, especially like for me, because I pull like big trailers and stuff, or those trannies dump on that. I won't buy a Dodge.
Yeah, Dodge doesn't hold up.
I agree.
They got a good engine, but god dang it, that transmission. I've known too many people with problems with them.
And I think you'll take any manufacturer, they'll have a good model year. You know, there's model year where it's like they couldn't miss. You know, it's like their Super Bowl season. They just every vehicle they put out that year was awesome, and then you'll get them like 5 years later, they're all junk. You know, because the company's cutting corners or whatever. You know, there's a bunch of weak links in them.
Well, we have a Saturn Outlook, and we bought it secondhand. But apparently, that model of Outlook and the General Motors, whatever that's comparable to that, and the Chevrolet, the same, you know, it's the same family.
Yeah.
At about 50,000 miles, you had to put a new transmission in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every one of them. And so when we looked at this one, they had just had a new transmission put in it. That's the only thing you can find anything wrong with that you know, family of vehicles, is that the transmission goes out in 40,000 miles. Between 40 and 50,000 miles. And 40 and 50,000 miles is just getting broken in.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the brand of car that my boys can't wreck. That's the one that's going to be my favorite.
Yeah. I have never bought a car with less than 40 or 50 on it. Well, no, I have bought new cars, but I don't do it anymore. Now I always buy used ones.
Bridget's going to get Bridget's going to get her one of those brand new Lincoln Navigators. You know, that's $100,000 and supposed to be the best SUV on the market now.
Yeah. Okay.
My father-in-law has the Aviator, and I didn't think it was that nice of a vehicle. Granted, it's sort of like the Ford Explorer, but it's the Lincoln Aviator.
Ford Explorer that's pimped out.
It's a pimped out Ford Explorer. I didn't think it was that great, and it didn't get that good of gas miles.
Well, they've redesigned all of them.
Yeah.
My mom, I was talking to my mom, and my mom said, "Your daddy's looking at one of these." I'm like, "Dad can't even drive. He's not even allowed to drive anymore." And
well,
so who's going to drive it? She said, "Well, I guess he thinks I am." Mom, you look like a 90-year-old woman driving that Ford Taurus you have, looking over the steering wheels.
I do like Matthew McConaughey's Lincoln commercials. He sold me on the Lincoln. So.
Oh, I know. Oh, Lord.
I never really thought I'm not a Ford person, but I can tell you Matthew McConaughey sold me on those Lincolns with those crazy commercials he does.
He's been voted sexiest man alive twice. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't tap on that like you do.
Matthew McConaughey is a very, very sexy man.
He is. Very pretty. Him and who's the guy off Chicago Fire? Shut up, Mark. Nobody asked you. I get to look around. I can't think of his name. He was with Lady Gaga. Taylor somebody.
Blake Shelton?
Yeah, is it Taylor something?
Oh, no, I'm wrong. Blake Shelton's with somebody else.
Yeah, look, it's Miranda. I can't think of his name.
Blake Shelton's with that Goo Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Blake Shelton, ain't it?
Yeah.
No, he's with Gwen Stefani, isn't
Gwen
he?
Stefani.
I always get those two mixed up. Lady Gaga, Gwen Stefani, Apple's.
All the same.
Oh, they're the same, aren't they?
Okay, one of them came out of that crazy door on stage or whatever. She does that song where she comes out of that thing on stage. That was Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Where she's reborn.
I guess I've never seen that either.
You should YouTube that. It's psychotic.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's Taylor Kinney is his name. He's pretty. Oh, he's really great.
Well, Jim, if you ever want to get lucky, just put a blindfold on Tara and then just start playing the Lincoln commercials from
after he did that Dallas Buyers Club, he got so skinny, he never really got the weight back on. He was actually a little better looking before he lost all that weight for Dallas Buyers Club, but now, like, after he lost all that weight, he never really got back to his old physique. It's weird.
He did a show, too. It was called, I think, with Woody Harrelson. I think it was called True Crimes or something. I mean, if you come across that, watch it. I watch it when Nikki turned me on to that BlueStacks thing or whatever on Showbox. I watched that True Crimes with him and Woody Harrelson. I mean, you want to talk about being his whole character is that guy from the Lincoln commercial. I mean, he is just totally out there, crazy. It's great. I loved it. It's like this little mini series or whatever. It was a good.
Oh
watch.
no! Somebody said he smells like hippie stink. Is that true?
Sally. Sally.
Sally Ian.
Did she fall asleep?
Yes.
Sleep.
We discussed this earlier before she went live.
I'm fine.
You look fine.
Drink one of those 72-hour energy drinks.
Okay, now the next time Sally goes to sleep, everybody leave the program because she'll sleep on live for the next 5 hours.
Yep.
You know what she reminds me of when she says, I'm fine? She reminds me of Doc Holliday in Tombstone when they're like, you look sick. He's like, I'm in my prime.
You know what? What is you retired too? No,
Oh, yeah.
Lord. She was doing good. She was keeping up with the chat over there. Then she started going to sleep on us.
Like sharing on Poshmark. Sharing on Poshmark instantly puts me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That does it for me too. I don't even have to be tired.
No, right?
It makes you tired.
Yeah.
I just have to watch a Jim and Tara movie and I'm out like a lion.
I know. Whenever I watch the Silver Hair movies where he talks about one word seconds, I get sleepy too.
I play those on my phone when I'm driving late at night to stay awake.
I should do another video just for you, Todd. Oh, actually, I went to an auction lot yesterday, and I had an online auction pickup where I got about 5 or 6 medical mannequins.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Oh, you got those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they ain't Recessa Annie's neither.
No, they're heavy.
They're Nurston Kelly's.
Nursing Kelly.
Ooh.
Do a video because I'd like to see those.
And they got lungs and the whole bit. I mean, they're for nurses to practice stitching and all this other stuff. They're not for CPR.
Yeah, they were heavy because I bought the Recessa Annie's. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. We'll just throw them in the van.
Oh my god!
And we get down there,
I'm
and
like,
there's a stack of boxes that's taller than me. I'm like, oh god, I hope we get these in the van.
Trips.
Yeah,
because we have that high-rise van. It's got that extra fiberglass top, high roof on it. I'm like, oh my god, we actually used it. I mean, we're pushing stuff in the door, but then going upward, so it went up into that cavity up above. So I was like,
Wow.
we don't utilize that very often.
I got a full prosthetic above the knee prosthetic leg. I got a couple training arms, I think, and some other crap. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
I was going to make a leg lamp out of it, but the knee is kind of bumpy on it, so I don't think it does.
Yeah, nobody wants bumpy knees.
No, it doesn't have the stuff. It's not very sexy.
Like having your floppy wrist.
Selling it. I'd have bought this fake leg, but it had a bumpy knee.
And it's long. Tara put it next to her leg.
It's taller than me.
The inseam is like 4 inches higher than Tara's. I'm like, wow, this is a really tall person.
When did you get the phone call from Brandon's school saying, Brandon brought a lung to school today?
Jim's grandpa had a fake leg, and well, of course, I never met him, but Jim's like, yeah, he used to take it off. His was below the knee, and then he'd sit next to it with the chair and use it for a beer holder.
That's funny.
He did it to my brother because my brother didn't know he had one leg. Sat down in a lawn chair with his beer, and he unscrewed he twists the leg, he takes it off, and he's got his stump. And they sets the leg next to him, and my brother's just standing there on the patio, staring at him with his mouth half open. And then he takes his beer and he puts it inside the hole in the top of the prosthetic leg. My brother just turns around, and takes off running.
I would have lost it. Oh, I'm laughing so hard.
How old was he? Like a toddler?
Now he's probably like 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
But nobody ever told him Grandpa's got one leg. You know, he's walking around with a cane, but nobody ever told me he had one leg.
Gary's Uncle Larry one time when one time Gary's Uncle Larry he has a artificial leg, and well, he had just gotten a new leg. Well, this was when Corey's nephew's like 32 now, but this was when he was like, I don't know, like 8 or 9. Anyways, my sister-in-law and us had went down and saw Uncle Larry, and he put his old leg in the trunk of the car and covered it up with a blanket. And anyways, when we got home that night, we told Corey, hey, Uncle Larry brought you sent something for a present for you. It's out in the trunk of the car under the blanket. And well, it was dark then. And he goes,
oh God.
And he lifts up the blanket just a little bit, and Uncle Larry's foot looks at like an actual foot. I mean, it's got toes and everything, you know, carved out, you know. Anyways, that kid came running in the house, screaming and crying. There's a leg in the car. There's a leg.
Worked him out.
In the car, it looked like a real leg, you know.
Well, here's the thing. That's weird, though. Well, now that you say that, because on the way home, the leg had a ride between us in the van. Brandon's at school, so it's just me and Tara. But, you know, you got the captain's chairs in the front of the conversion van. I got the leg in the front seat with us between us because the whole back end of the van's completely crammed full. I drop my hand down, and I feel the calf, but the front part of the front of the
top of the leg.
No, the bottom half of the leg, where your calf across where your calf would be. But the front part, your shin bone area, I got my hand resting on that, and I thought my hand was on Tara's arm, and I looked down like, oh, that big leg. I didn't realize it because it feels so, because it's made with some kind of like softer material on the outside where it actually, and it was in a sock. It's like got like this elastic sock all over it. So I thought it was like my hand was on her arm in a sweatshirt. I would hear my hand was on his leg, and I'm like moving my hand back.
He's feeling up tired. He's feeling up some prosthetic leg.
Jim's coming out with too many nursing bellies.
I think I would be a little offended by that.
Tara, he might need a little bit of alone time with the leg.
Oh, gross, no. That would be a deal breaker for him.
Yeah, I think ours has toes also, the foot, except you can't see it because it's in like this unisock. There's like this, it's sort of like the sock they put over the stump, that kind of material, but this sock goes the whole length of the leg, so I haven't taken it off to see. Like you can see there's a knee in there. Like I said, the knee looks bumpy, but you're looking at through the sock. I've never actually seen the hinge or the joint or whatever, how it's set up.
Wow. I think that
it's got a strap, like those when you get those neoprene waders. It's got a strap that's at the end of that sock that wraps around your hip on the other side, you know, to hold it.
Yeah,
to your
it's
body.
like somebody that's really has like a short amputated leg.
Yeah,
it'd be like way up below your hip joint.
Yeah, it would be like if you had a stump that was maybe I don't know 8 to 12 inches long. You know, like half of your femur.
And when the sock comes off, the fun starts.
Oh boy.
That was one thing I could never do for my mom was pull off her leg. She'd say, "Oh, go pull off my leg." I'd go pull my leg off, and I'd be like, "Mom, I can't. I just can't." You know, I said I used to all my life got in trouble for pulling your leg. I just can't do it.
Oh my God!
Oh, did your mom have a fake leg too?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom did too.
They started with her toes, and then half
that's
her foot.
what happened to my mom too.
Yeah.
I could help her with her leg because sometimes you put that thing on it. It's got like a bolt in it, that slip-on thing. Yeah. Sometimes she had a hard time getting that to click in, so I could help her with that. But it took me a little while to it was weird to look at or stump without, after it was amputated. It was just kind of freaked me out for a while. It probably freaked her out more because she's the one who had to go through it. But
Yeah. Well, that was just one thing. I just could not do it. You know, when she had her toes cut off and everything, I used to help her with her bandages and all that. And she's had where they cut her whole down inside of her foot and had her whole half of her foot, almost her whole foot would spread right open. And we had to pack it and pull it out and cut it and keep it packed and pull it out, let it heal from the inside out. I was able to help her with all that. But when she ended up getting her leg cut off, I couldn't do it. I just could not pull her leg off. It just weird.
It's funny because I will say before my mom, I didn't realize, but if you really go like to the medical clinic or whatever and really kind of just observe people in the waiting room, it amazes me how many people actually have lost a leg or both legs. And usually it's due to diabetes. That was my mom. It was due to diabetes. But I never really realized how many people are missing legs or feet because of diabetes.
Yeah. It's common.
It's very scary. Honestly, it was one of the reasons I quit drinking soda is because diabetes runs in my family and my mom had so many health problems because of it. Like, oh my God, I don't want to get the damn diabetes.
Yeah, they start chasing an infection and they just can't get it. You know what I mean? It just keeps spreading and they got to keep taking pieces off to save your life. But yeah, it's funny in this day and age you think they will stop it, but
no. And my mother died very young. She was only like 61 years old when she died.
Yeah, my mom was 59.
And was on dialysis. I mean, the whole gambit. It's really a horrible disease. Not to be a downer.
Sepsis?
Yeah.
Yep. My mom too, and my sister both. My sister ended up having her leg cut off. I actually had to sign the paper for it. And well, she ended up dying like a week later anyways, but so she never realized it. So I thought, oh my God, she's going to kill me because I signed the paper for it. But because she was so out of it at the time, she couldn't sign her own papers. Yeah. And then my dad was her next of kin, but it was the same day she had to have her leg cut off. They said she got to have her leg cut off today. We got to do it. And my dad was in surgery. I don't remember what he had going on that day, but he was in intensive care. So he was not, when you're intensive care, you're not allowed to sign for anybody. So I had her in intensive care in one hospital and I had him intensive care at another hospital, both the same hospital, but they were two separate buildings. And yeah, I was signing papers for both of them. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Your girls, are you girls married?
My girls, no, they don't even have boyfriends.
Well, I'll tell you what, if their potential boyfriends listen to this, they're going to, we don't want her for a mother-in-law. Now tell her what she'll have signed and have cut on her.
She'd be a fun mother-in-law.
Well, she would. But just the point that she's signing for people to have parts of their bodies removed. Mommy doesn't need that.
You better be nice to your
I bet you won't cheat on my daughter again.
Well, that was my sister never wanted to have stuff cut off. She was like, no, I'm not letting diabetes do that to me. Once things have to be cut off, I'm just gonna die. And yeah, she ended up dying a week after her leg got cut off. She ended up coming to well, the thing was they told us that she could go on hospice, and my dad was like, no, I'm not signing paperwork for my daughter to die. Right. Well, because she was so out of it at the time. And she was like seeing like dogs running around the hospital room, stuff like that. It was so weird. Anyways, one day she came to and was what do you call it, lucid or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, that one day, because me and my dad are like, I was like, well, her quality of life, because that's the one I wanted, and then they were going to have to cut off half her app. And I was like, Dad, she's not going to want to live like this, I said the quality of life isn't there, because she was only 44, and but that one day when we had to make the decision to either put her on hospice or not, because she was a kidney patient also on dialysis. So once you sign the papers, they would take her off dialysis, and she would die within so many days. Anyways, my dad's like, no, I'm not signing the papers for my daughter to die, And she came to just long enough that day to sign the papers, and we were talking and stuff, and she's like, well, this is it. I signed the papers. She says, is there anything else you guys want to know before I go? And we're all, all sad and everything. I look up, I says, the only thing I want to know is where'd you hide the money? She goes, you asshole. But then later on that evening, she went back out of it again.
Yeah.
She started seeing the dogs running around the room. She started seeing things that weren't there. Just talking about weird stuff, And it was like God made her come through. I don't want to get religious on people, but
no,
it was like that moment God gave her enough sense to be able to do it, to take that off of my dad,
Right.
I call it, because I've seen it in like members of my family, I always call it the moment of clarity. They have this very they're right on the ball or whatever moment of clarity where they start putting their stuff in order or whatever, and then they'll do that and they slip back away. It's a weird experience. It's funny you say that about the dogs running around the room, because when my mom I would call it real loopy when she'd be so sick. I'd go in to visit her and she'd be talking about how the gingerbread man came to visit her and stuff like that. I mean, just real weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff happens.
Or they see people that have passed away way before, and I don't want to get weird, but you know what I mean? They'll be like, you'll come in there and they'll be like, oh, so-and-so came to see me today. And you're like, okay. That kind of freak you out. Anyway.
It's funny that you use loopy, because that's what Roberta was before she had her liver transplant. The ammonia levels in her body would get up high and she would get loopy.
Yeah.
She was taking lactulose. She had to drink lactulose. And that is some of the nastiest, vile stuff that you will ever put in your body. And what it did was it helped get rid of the excess ammonia. But that's the phrase that we use, loopy.
Yeah.
And we decided her driving days were over before she had her liver transplant, because she left to go to work and came back to the house, and she said, I was just about to work and I forgot to take the boys to school. And I said, honey, it's the end of May. They're at your mother's house on vacation. And she's like, oh, okay. I said, you need to go lay down and go to sleep. Call your boss and tell them that you're not going to be in. And so about 2 hours later, her boss called and said, Tom, where's Roberta? And I said, she's in bed asleep. Did she not call you? No, I haven't heard from her.
Oh my gosh.
That day they went ahead and put her on not disability. Well, that too, but medical leave.
Yeah.
But she would loopy is the word.
Yeah.
She would get that way.
I could always tell when my mom had an infection. That what I would call, I go, you're acting loopy. There's something wrong. You have some kind of infection. Because they just don't, they act a little kooky. They're just not themselves. I don't know how to describe it exactly,
You mentioned the dogs. My next door neighbor's mother was in a nursing home, and she was getting really bad off, and Alzheimer's was setting in. Anyway, the nurse walked in one day and said, well, Mrs. So-and-so, how many children do you have? And she said 4. And my neighbor was sitting in the room with her, and she looked at her mother and said, 4? There's Richard, there's Judy, and there's me. Who's the other one? And she said, I'm not telling. So She passed away not too long after that, and to this day, Pat wonders whether her mother had a miscarriage, or maybe before her oldest brother was born, that she had one, and maybe had to put it up for adoption or something like that.
Huh.
And she spent a lot of time doing research and whatnot, to see if she could find a connection there with anybody.
Yeah.
But that's not something that you want to tell your children on your deathbed,
Right.
But we'll all probably get there at some point or another.
No, we're all heading the same direction.
Yeah.
Well, especially like an older generation like that, if something happened, like even a miscarriage, they didn't talk about it. Like my grandmother, she had my mom when she was 42 years old. She didn't tell anybody she was pregnant. She had been married for, 15 years or something. She didn't tell anybody she was pregnant because she figured she'd end up losing the baby because she was so old. And, when you get older, I always wondered, I'm like, I wonder if she had been having miscarriages before that. You know what I mean? So she didn't think it was going to, go to term or whatever. But that's just how those people were. It was very private, and they just didn't talk about that stuff.
Would you go lay down?
Yeah.
Nikki, are you home?
No.
Oh.
I'm at my daughter's house. I'm not home. When the hell am I ever home?
Well,
Nikki's never home.
You're sick.
Come here.
You're home when you're sick.
Come here.
Feel free to sing along on the road again.
Yeah. Can't wait to get on the road again.
Who do you got to give a ride to today?
Nobody, actually. I just had to come to town to do some other stuff. The thing is last night I went straight home after I picked up my husband and my daughter. I went straight home. I didn't stop at the store or anything. And when I got home, I was like, oh, man, I ain't got any pop or water or nothing, And my daughter messaged me last night at like 8:30 at night. And she's like, yeah, I don't need a ride to work tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So she says, you don't have to come into town. Well, I had to come into town because I didn't have nothing to drink.
Oh, no.
Poor Nikki.
Which, honestly, when I drove up there, I didn't realize how far where she lives, Poplar, is from Superior. Isn't it like 20 miles or 15 or 20 miles? I mean, it's a little bit of a jaunt to go over into the Superior.
Yeah.
You don't have any stores in between?
Well, I have stores in Poplar, but by the time my daughter messaged me last night, they were closed. So,
my God.
And tonight's auction. I don't know if I'm going to go to the auction, but I like to be in town just in case.
You better go to that auction.
What is wrong with it?
I don't know if I'm going to go to the auction. You should go to the auction so you can buy some stuff to sell. For God's sake.
You need stuff, Nikki. You need stuff.
No, I really don't, though.
I got an aluminum Christmas tree last night.
Oh my God. I love buying those. I just love it.
Mine's a little short. Aluminum Christmas tree.
Oh, cool.
It's just instant money. I mean, that.
Aluminum.
You have one of the fan lights that goes with it?
No, I didn't get the light, but I did get a box of other older Christmas decoration. Not that I'm a big tree stand seller, but actually they had some real cool retro 1950s, 60s tree stand for an artificial tree, but it's like got a fiberglass top with like speckles in it. It looks real retro. I think those will probably knock off, I would guess.
Yeah, those will. But
I got these yesterday.
I love buying those.
Yeah.
Oh, get off me, asshole.
When I set it all up, and my whole living room has these silver things all over the floor.
Yeah, this one I don't think's been set up because it's got all the tubes on all the branches yet.
Oh wow.
I got these yesterday.
Did you list that fireplace yet, Nikki?
No.
Why? Those are cute.
I got these yesterday.
I did.
Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann ornaments.
Oh, they're cute.
I don't like Raggedy Ann, but somebody probably thinks they're cute.
And I got this yesterday. This is about $40.
Oh my God.
Oh, cool.
The wood Stratego.
Is that a wood box?
Yeah.
I got it too. I haven't listed mine yet. Mine's missing one piece. I got it under my desk. I got that wood box Stratego too.
Oh, that's funny.
We're like twinsies.
It's like 40.
You guys are Stratego twinsies.
We're in Wisconsin. We both have Stratego.
Oh my God. Hey, Nikki, when you were talking about when Tara said she don't like Raggedy Ann, when I was I went to a Catholic school, a little parochial school, and for our 8th grade, it was your graduation from 8th grade because you went on to public school. There was no Catholic high school, so we had to do a talent show, and they paired us off into boy-girl teams. So me and this girl, Geraldine Howard, we had to do a thing, and I let her plan the whole thing. We're Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy.
Oh my God!
I mean, with the doll faces and these masks that were the doll that her mom sewed up. So, and we had to dance to some goofy Barry Manilow song.
Oh my God! If I'd have known that, I would never have dated you.
I had these rainbow sweaters holding up my pants.
Oh my God! I'm glad you didn't tell me that.
It's so bad. Afterwards, I'm like, I have no pride.
There are pictures of that.
I don't remember what the song was, but I remember it was Barry Manilow, and I hate Barry Manilow.
Oh my God, that would have been.
But I kind of had it for this girl too. I kind of had the odds for her.
So you let her dress you like Raggedy
and it didn't work. It didn't go anywhere.
She's like, this guy's such a sap. Oh my God.
She wound up dating Taco Joe.
Oh really?
They dated all through high school.
Oh.
And then he moved to Chicago, and then they broke it off. But I don't know what it is.
Just think, if it wasn't for that other boy, Tara would have missed out on all that good.
Yeah. And there was nobody between her and Tara. Oh wait, no, there was a couple.
Oh yeah, wait. He got married. He was married, and he had some kids with another woman, and
paternity. Yeah.
Is Todd around, or is he going to see his girlfriend?
No, his desk is still there.
Yeah, I'm here. What do you want?
Tara, have you seen the elusive eel, the man holding the eel picture?
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, we've all seen it.
Man.
Well, we had a long discussion about it yesterday, and to me, the eels look like stirrups.
Stirrups? No. I saw a picture of it. I think it's supposed to be like the Rag Man or something. It's in New York City, isn't it? It looks like it to me. It looks like
I thought it was like suspenders.
Well, who would walk around on the street selling suspenders? I think it's supposed to be the Rag Man.
Rag Man.
What's that?
Rag. You know, turn of the century. You used to have the Rag Man. You used to come and get rags and stuff.
Bones. He would be the bone and rag man. He would take your bones and your rags and they would take them. Whatever they would do they would recycle them. They would use the bones for whatever. Some industries would use those. He was like when your garbage truck comes and picks up recyclables. Back then, rags was what they were picking up.
Yeah.
If you look at them, they don't look like rags though, because if you look at the ends of them. Todd, show the picture again, will you?
Oh my God!
If you look at the ends of them, they have this thing that goes like this, and they have the buttonholes on the bottom, like the guys had on their pants. They had the buttons for the suspenders, you know.
But to me, there looks like there's a rod running between the two buttonholes.
Okay, it doesn't matter. What matters is nobody thought of eels.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
I did.
Yeah, none of us really care what it is, but we just know it's not eels.
It's not eels.
Joanna says they look like horse tack.
Over there in New York. Yeah. Look at eels on the East Coast.
Nikki was stripping. When was Nikki stripping?
I know, I missed it too. I'm like, what? Ainsley, what are you talking about?
Oh, I took my sweatshirt off.
Oh,
Ainsley's over here. Get it, girl. I'm like, what's going on?
I know.
Trying to make me some cheeseburger money, honey.
Don't you hear that song in the background? It's getting hot in here.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Close. Lord help us. Valerie for a few days.
All these girls, I can't take it anymore. All the electricity from all these eels.
I know, whose mind just goes to eels?
Todd.
Todd.
Think of an eel.
Todd's probably ate eels before.
Ew. Oh yeah,
eat them. I'm pretty sure, don't they? Like, or maybe it's like in Alaska they catch them.
They like promote your sex drive or something, don't they?
Ew, gross.
Yeah.
I know Jim said when you go deep sea fishing on one of those boats, and they say if you hook into an eel, whatever you do, don't raise your line up out of the water because it will like crawl up the line. And a lady caught an eel and she pulled it out of the water, and Jim's like, you wouldn't believe how fast it got up that line and was right there. And the lady just took the fishing pole and threw it overboard.
Oh my God.
$50 or $200, and she's like, okay, whatever.
He was running up with the knife, and he says, "Don't you pull that line out of the water? Don't you pull it?" And she's looking over, and she couldn't help it. You saw the rod tip going up. She just wanted to see that damn eel.
How fast would he come up the line?
2 seconds.
Oh,
wow.
It's one of those gang fishing boats with real, because it can handle rough water. It's got real high sides. We're a few miles offshore fishing, and I mean that eel, it would do it flipped endwise all the way up that line within a couple seconds, and then she just took the rod. It got to the end of the rod, and she just looked.
Oh, got all the way to the rod.
Yeah, got
Did
all the
it
way.
like hiss or anything?
No,
or?
it was on the end of the rod, and it was starting to do another flip, and she just took the pole, both
Yeah,
hands,
I
on the
would've-
handle, and with that big reel, and just pushed it out about 4 feet, and it dropped into the ocean. I was like, "Yeah, lady, I don't blame you, but you're buying that rod."
I would have handed over the money here.
God, I would have probably done the same thing.
I bet you there is not a morning show on YouTube that has the wide variety of topics this one.
Well, we get around, reselling.
But Joanna Parrish agrees with me, so I'm right. 2 to 1, so I win.
You win.
Okay, so this eel was like gulping the line then?
No. It would head to tail. It would wrap it flipped up out of the water. As soon as she got out of the water, it was able to flip its tail up and get onto the line with its tail. So now it's upside down. Then it flips itself right side up again. Then it flips itself upside down. So you see and it's about 3 feet long. So it's taken 3 feet every time it flips on this line, and it's climbing the line head to tail. It's just flipping the whole body. And I mean, it was like whack, 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 right up the fishing pole. And then it got right up to the ladies because the guy before they told her not to take out of the water, but the guy's running to her with the knife because he's going to try to cut the line. But they got on the end of the pole. He hesitates because now he don't know what to do. The lady looks at the eel. She just takes her pole and just chucks it. Because the guy's like, yeah, that thing would got on the deck. It could have definitely hurt somebody. I mean, because they're really hard to catch once they're flopping around the deck of the boat. So but he also ended it with, "You're still gonna buy that rod."
Oh yeah, because those ocean ones, they got like really big teeth and stuff.
Guess I don't know, but it never made it on the boat.
I would have been screaming.
All right, Todd's got his picture up.
So there it is, the eel man.
What the hell was that? Wait a minute, Todd.
Now look at the ends of them. Look at the ends. See how
Yeah, but they do have a bar across them like a stirrup, but I don't know why would somebody walk around selling stirrups either.
Well, look at the horse behind.
Like leathers?
Oh yeah, I didn't see those bars. Yeah, you might be right.
I don't know.
What bars?
It's abstract art. They think there's a line in
Oh,
between
it's
the
okay.
two ends of the thing.
Oh.
But it's definitely
Not
not
eels.
eels. Eels don't have.
Yeah, eels don't have 2 heads.
Here's some
That's
cuteness
tails.
for you.
I used to be
The
married
heads up here, those are tails.
Eels don't have tails like that.
How do you know? When's the last time you caught an eel?
When's the last time you saw an eel, Todd?
That's what they strap their hook to.
I think 3 foot per
I'm
base.
giving you guys some cuteness to look at here.
Eels look like. Oh my god! I just looked up a picture.
That reminds me of my Specky. My Speck was the same color.
Which dog is that?
It's her daughter's Chihuahua.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah, this is Vinny.
it does look like a
He's an
little.
applehead chihuahua.
Hi, Vinny. Hi, Vinny.
Todd, you need to put that picture up on the reseller.
Now, is Vinny the one that has the medical issues?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
What's
sweet.
wrong with them?
he got seizures.
Oh,
Oh, ours do too.
Hi, Vinny. Oh, he's so cute.
Vinny
Maggie
cute.
thinks they're garter belts.
Now he was supposed to be your dog, right?
Garter belts.
Yeah, he was supposed to be my dog.
Yeah, he just came from the brothel. He's got a bunch of garter belts.
But I could see a guy like in a mining town or something, or a place where there's guys doing hard, like manual.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be New York City. I mean, so if you think about, and you have like in the background, you have horses and buggies and stuff, and people milling about.
Well, you can buy anything you want in the city.
Leave him alone.
Okay, y'all hang on a second. I'm getting ready to shift the conversation.
Oh Lord.
You got trucks coming into New York from Wisconsin. They don't have suspenders. You sell them suspenders on the sidewalk.
In elementary school, or what do you call these things? Recorders. Is that part of the required school supplies now?
What is it?
A recorder,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I've got
sometimes.
A recorder.
I've got like 6 of these things out of, one out of each storage unit.
Yeah, they're required for music class.
Yeah, Brandon had to do it last year in 3rd grade. But the thing,
my other 2 kids did too.
They're not worth reselling because you buy them new through the school for $9.99.
Yeah.
They're super cheap.
Well, I'm going to start shipping them out. We're going to create the reseller recorder orchestra.
Oh my God. No, thank you. I had to listen to a lot of recorder music last year.
Oh God, I hate those things. I want to break them so bad. Oh my God.
It was calling all the cats around the town over to our house.
Me and Star would smoke medical marijuana and listen to Jethro Tull.
Hey, he came to concert here.
Stop.
See what I brought with me to work on today at my daughter's house?
What?
Jewelry.
Oh Lord.
Why don't you list that Christmas cardboard fireplace?
Yeah, I forgot. I should have brought that with me to do.
I wish you'd list it because Thanksgiving's next week. You're right in the season for it.
Yeah, I know.
You should be listing that cardboard fireplace instead of that jewelry. You'd make more money on it probably.
You're like Ralphie. You're like Ralphie when he's on Santa's lap and he asks for the football instead of the BB gun.
I know.
I love that movie.
I know. I only paid like $1 or $2 for that fireplace too, so it's a good.
I know, and you probably could make a lot of money right now because you're right in the season, but you're listing jewelry.
I wonder if anybody's ever arranged a Jethro Tull piece of music for a recorder.
There's if you look at the credits on the album, they named the recorder player. That's the only rock band I know that uses the I guess kind of like rock, but anyway, that uses a recorder.
So where's Little Beaver from? Is he from Red Rider?
Yeah, but that ain't Little Beaver. That ain't the Little Beaver.
Well, who is it? It's just Little Beaver.
No, that's some kid who went to. I'm assuming Disney World, bought the hat, or Disneyland, probably from the age of it.
Why? Why do you not think?
Because when you buy them at the hat place, they sew you put your name on there, and I'm assuming this kid's nickname was Little Beaver.
That doesn't even make sense.
Well, Little Beaver would have been big back then, though. Red Rider's sidekick is Little Beaver, who is also Robert Blake. Is it Robert Blake? Beretta.
Yeah.
Whoever the actor was who played Beretta, I think his first name was Blake, the guy who played Beretta. When he was a kid, he played this character who was Little Beaver, who was Red Rider the cowboy's little Indian sidekick. And I bought a cowboy hat at an auction that has Little Beaver stitched on it, like they do when you go to Disney World. They'll stitch your name on your hat, and but it's not. It doesn't come up. I photo searched it. It doesn't come up as a Little Beaver hat. He only wears a headdress. So I think it was a cowboy hat. It's a black cowboy hat with some stuff on it. I'm assuming that they bought it at a park and put a kid's nickname on it.
Sally Ann.
Is she gone?
Have you ate breakfast yet?
There it is. The $10 one.
Huh?
Do what?
Billy, you need to go eat something.
Have you ate breakfast yet?
That's like it.
What are they, 1950s?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get coffee.
Go get something right now.
Yeah, you just
Go.
something to eat or coffee or something.
And let them figure it out.
That's hard.
Did you work last night?
I think she worked last night, didn't she?
Yep.
I think she has to work like the next 6 days straight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Try searching Red Rider cowboy hat.
Red Rider Cowboy.
It's RYDER.
Cowboy hat.
He's coaching me on how to find the listing.
Well, he searched child's cowboy hat, but I want if Red Rider would be what this kid. She found one that's like it from the 50s.
Oh, cool.
Sarah, I'm in town, so I can go to my storage shed and get better stuff to this too. I just thought, well, since I'm hanging out, it's easy to carry. I just grab this jewelry and work on it.
Oh my God, Nikki! I just had a horrible thought too. You better get that thing sold, that cardboard thing, because you're gonna wind up at Chipmunks. Go on, make a winter nest or something in that thing.
Chew a hole in it.
Yeah, he's gonna be shredded.
Red Rider. Zero listings. Oh, I changed my spelling.
Yeah, that's gotta be RYDER.
Well, I can't help it that eBay changes the spelling. They should just leave it the way I spell it. If I choose to spell wrong, it's my business. No. I'm just gonna copy this one and just change the word.
Yeah, change it to Red Rider.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think I should leave Hopalong Cassidy in it? Jesus, like I wouldn't know. Oh, yeah, I just leave Hopalong Cassidy. Ew, what's the problem here?
This tape is going on your mouth.
Oh God.
You know, it's kind of weird. I guess they were trying to get the child audience back in those days, but there's so many. There was a space adventure, and it was a grown man was the astronaut, and he had this like 11-year-old sidekick. But there's all these shows back there that had these, adult men and their sidekicks that were not their children.
Yeah, it was totally normal back then.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
But like I said, I don't know whether they were probably going to try to drag in the child viewers into these things.
Yeah.
Want to see my rocket ship?
Me and my sidekick met at the YMCA.
Oh God! But I love watching the old science fiction, serials, and I guess because I'm an old guy.
Well, I don't know if you remember that show BJ and the Bear.
Yeah.
There was the chimp that he rode around with. Now, no truck driver would take a damn chimpanzee with him on the road. But I can tell you as a kid, I watched it every week because I didn't give a crap about BJ or the truck. I wanted to see Bear. I wanted to see the monkey every week.
Yeah.
I could see Nikki doing that.
Clyde the orangutan from Every Which Way But Loose.
Well, the Today Show used to have a monkey, didn't it? Because they thought it would entertain women viewers when the Today Show started.
Really?
They had a monkey on it.
The original Today Show mission statement was to, and I'm not sure they've veered from that much, but it was to put out dumbed down news for the American housewife because they couldn't handle the ugly real news of the late night broadcast. It would be like the nicer human interest stories that housewives could digest. I mean, that was the thinking at the time. If you Google it, go back to the origins of the Today Show. That was what it was designed for. I mean, it's incredible.
Oh, wow.
A little offensive.
Well, that was also in the time when women were, supposed to be, they were the housewife homemakers, and the husband always taking care of paying bills and all of that mess because they weren't really capable of doing that.
Yeah.
My mom went to the hospital, and my mom had to spend the week before she went into the hospital because it was lady surgery, and it was scheduled, and she had to sit down with my dad and tell him where everything was at. He paid the bill. She took care of all that. all our lives.
My grandmother was born in 1906. She always handled all the finances for the household, the checkbook, whatever. It was just that was her job. Her husband came home, gave her the paycheck, and then she handled the paying of the bills and everything.
Well, the thing is,
you look at TV shows.
The thing was, back when women were the ones getting the education, the guys had to go out and farm and work labor, do labor jobs and stuff. They didn't need all that education for that. So that's why, women had the education. They knew how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for literacy, I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I mean, yeah, I would guess if you Googled literacy, like in the 30s and 40s, from the 20s to maybe the 50s, you probably did have a higher literacy rate among women than you did among men.
Oh yeah.
My grandmother was in 8th grade. She only had an 8th grade education. She handled everything. She always worked, and she could speak 3 languages. She only went to 8th grade. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
As long as a man could cipher, that's all he needed to do.
The downfall of women was when they put electric motors on sewing machines.
That's great.
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know you did a lot of sewing. I absolutely do not know how to sew. And she used to be able to make her own dresses and stuff. Even my mom could make her own dresses. I have no interest in sewing, and I don't even know how to operate a sewing machine.
I used to be able to sew. I haven't sewed in so many years. I don't know if I could still. But
I bought a sewing machine, and I didn't know how to set it up.
Yeah.
And Brandon set it up for me because he took home ec in high school, so he was able to set it up for me. He remembered.
Brandon made such a good way.
I've gotten 2 of the pedal, driven sewing machines, and sold both of them to preppers.
Oh, really? Yeah. That surprised me.
And one of them came up in a 1969 Chevy truck. And the only reason he has it is because there's nothing computerized on it. So if there's an EMP,
oh my God, yeah,
his truck will keep on going. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah.
Back when silver was higher, I sold I sold a bunch of mercury dimes. Anyway, I had a lot of people prepper type people because they think when the economy falls apart, you'll be able to buy bread, using silver and that. And I'm thinking to myself, it ain't silver you're gonna buy bread with. It's gonna be like bullets. It's gonna be who has the most bullets wins in that situation.
Yeah.
I'm going to take your bread and your dimes.
All is done. Thank you very much for everything you have.
It's probably about 6 months ago I bought a storage unit, and when I was cleaning it out, the guy beside me was cleaning out one that he had bought, and it had to have been a prepper unit because it had cases of vodka and gin.
Ooh.
In pint-sized bottles, and it had all of that. Is it Wise Foods, the prepackaged foods?
Yeah.
It had cases of those. It had some bourbon, all that kind of crap. Good crap.
Kathy, why can't we find units like that?
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Well, what you going to do with the liquor? You can drink it because you can't.
When we bought our conversion van, we're kind of cleaning it out because the guy had passed away. So the son that sold it didn't totally clean it out. And Jim found
he cleaned it out real good.
He didn't find it. It was stashed. The guy had stashed those quart bottles of Walgreens vodka. But you'd find his AA pamphlets and then the stash vodka bottle.
When I bought the van, I go, oh my God, this is so funny. It's dented in all the areas where mine is dented, where it backed into stuff. He goes, yeah, my dad wasn't supposed to drive anymore, but he was still driving. I'm thinking, oh, maybe he got older and senile or something. Well, the reason he wasn't supposed to be driving was, I'm assuming, alcohol-related driving issues or whatever. Because I in the door, I find this the steps pamphlet, but then underneath the seat, tucked up under where the electric thing, the motor moves the seats. I'm like, what is that? There's something up there. I pull it out. It's a Walgreens vodka bottle, one of those flat plastic Walgreens vodka bottles.
Oh.
A half, what is it? Maybe a pint? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Not a small one.
Walgreens vodka under the driver's seat.
I didn't know Walgreens made vodka.
If I want a unit like that, I live in a college town. Do you really think it would be that hard for me to get rid of all that vodka?
Well, when I went to college, you drank as you go, though. You weren't storing it up. You drank everything you had every day.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hey, Lori's here.
Reseller's here.
3 days in a row. Woo, that's
Ooh.
Oh,
I know we haven't had you in forever.
How's everyone
Valerie's
doing?
here too.
Hi, Valerie.
Hi.
Are you in North Carolina now?
I am in North Carolina.
We never know where she is.
And it's raining, pouring.
It is raining hard. Crazy.
It's raining ice here.
Now, how far are you from Tom?
I don't really
He's on the
know.
north side of the city. I'm on the south side of the city.
Yeah.
Okay, at 3 o'clock in the morning, we're probably about 15 minutes apart.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're about 4 hours apart.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's crazy up there at that airport. I tell you what.
Is it? Which
it
airport?
is Charlotte.
Oh.
It is a madhouse.
They're under construction again.
Yeah. I'm sure it probably would be a madhouse even if they didn't have the construction.
The construction's got it really messed up there.
Yeah.
They're adding some an international wing, is what I heard. Because we're supposed to be getting some more international flights.
That's cool.
Because all our international flights, if I was going to fly to, say, London, I either had to fly from Charlotte to New York, or Charlotte to Philadelphia, or Charlotte to Atlanta.
Right.
So they've got one London flight, and they've got one to Frankfurt, I think. But they're trying to get, and they did away with the U.S. Airways hub in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Which Maggie's probably hating that, but they're just probably eventually all of American will leave out of Charlotte.
Yeah.
We wanted to kind of talk to you guys about something.
Okay.
So y'all know our friend Carol. She suffered a loss, and her husband passed away. And we wanted to do try and raise some funds for her. And so we wanted to, just kind of open it up to see whatever you wanted to donate, and you can, just send. I figure we'll just have you send it to the CPR chick, 911@yahoo.com, and you guys can. We'll just take up a collection, and then we'll just send it to her.
We didn't want to do any kind of GoFundMe or anything because they take some of that away. So
they take about 30%, I believe.
Yeah.
20 or 30%. So
we figured we all
just
send it to Valerie, then she can send it all to Carol.
Yeah. Then it all goes to Carol instead of.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I didn't really have any kind of song and dance prepared for you guys for that, but just a real simple, take up a collection and send it over to her. I'm sure she would appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's CPR chick 911.
Can you put it in the chat?
Yeah, I will.
Or a link to it? I don't know.
I don't have the chat pulled up.
Well, maybe Sally can.
I will.
Is there a limit on the friends and family thing? Sharky Mom said.
There's not. Yeah, so send it friends and family. Otherwise they charge a fee. And
How long are we going to do it for?
what's that?
How long do you want to do it for? Like, how long do you want to do the sending the money before we send it to her? You want to do like
let's do from now and until Monday, and then I'll find out what we have, and then I will.
That sounds
does that
good.
sound like a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
Monday evening, I'll send it to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you put it in the Facebook group too.
Yeah, I was about to send
Yeah.
her something.
Does she have kids?
She does not. Brian does. I believe they're grown and
Right.
and everything, but yeah, he does have children.
We have Toby.
What's that, Nikki?
They have Toby.
Yep.
Yeah, we do have Toby. Yes.
My fur baby.
But just so we can do a little something special for her, and
Yeah, because she would do absolutely anything for any one of us.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
definitely.
she's always sending like free stuff to anybody, like, oh yeah, like she sent me Star Wars plates. Oh, you like Star Wars? Here, I'll just send them to you. I mean, she's very nice that way.
Right.
Always like giving stuff away and sending it to whoever.
Yeah.
She'd send me the shirt off her back if I needed it.
Yeah. Probably one of the most giving people out there. So.
I talked to her this morning and she says that she loves everybody and misses everybody, but she just needs her time right now. And she's been watching the show, so to kind of get her spirits up and put her head in a different place, but she just needs her time right now.
She's a doll. She commented. She was one of the first comments on my video this morning.
But that is the thing about YouTube, about having friends, about having a family, of friends, is that they can help you get through it. I mean, it's not gonna make it any better. It's not gonna make it any easier, but they can help. And that's what I had to surround myself with. In my situation. So, and you guys were all there for me, and supported me, and so that's definitely what we need to do for Carol.
Yeah. Hey, stop it. And Carol, if you're listening, we love you.
We love you, and we miss you, and we're praying for you, and all of that, because nobody should have to go through that, but unfortunately, that's
part of life is death.
That's I mean, it's a part of it.
At some point, but yeah, it sucks because they're so young too. Like when you lost your husband, so young.
Right.
In our 40s and 50s, you don't think you have to worry about it, but.
Absolutely.
Was it sudden, or was he sick, or do you know?
It's been coming on for a while, but it was pretty sudden. I mean, I don't think they thought that this was going to be the outcome.
Right.
He had a liver transplant
10 years ago, I think. Somewhere around that. I don't want to say wrong thing, but
don't say that.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while, but anyways, they gave him some bad medicine or something. Gave him some medicine that ended up killing his liver, and but I'm figuring they probably figured he'd probably get another liver or something, or they were working on making the other liver, try to make it last or whatever. I'm sure, but I'm sure that him passing away was very sudden. I'm sure they didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Because that's what Roberta had, was a liver transplant.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, we have not had any problems.
Oh, that's
good.
Well, yeah, and people can go on and on and on with transplants and not have any issues at all. But yeah, and then some just don't. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Every time Roberta gets a prescription for something, like if she's got to have dental work, she has to take an antibiotic before she has it done. She's on the internet looking, is there any conflicts between this and the plethora of meds that she's on for rejection and all that kind of mess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the sad thing is that we sit here and think that we can trust some of these physicians.
Right.
And really and truly, we need to be our own advocates and figure out what they're giving us now that we have. I mean, back in the day, I'm sure, people couldn't figure that stuff out unless they went to the library. Well, we've got all this information at the palm of our hands now, at our fingertips. Yeah, we need to start watching what these doctors are doing and protecting ourselves, because these doctors don't care about us anymore. It's not the old days where the doctors cared about their patients. They're getting kickbacks from this medicine, that medicine. So they're stacking stuff up on you. They're not even thinking about it. And if you go to any different doctors, they're not looking at your other records and going back and saying, well, this conflicts with this. I mean, the other day when I had my issue and they gave me an antibiotic, that was in the family of antibiotics that I'm allergic to. Why would they do that?
Right.
And another thing is that my infection was worse because I'm on methotrexate, which lowers your immune system. So she was supposed to give me a stronger antibiotic anyway, and she didn't. So I could have still been going on with infection if I hadn't had that allergic reaction. I wouldn't have gotten rid of my infection as well as it has, So, I mean, yeah, we have to start watching this stuff because you just never know with these damn doctors these days.
And especially since people do not they don't have the family pharmacists anymore.
Yeah.
If you go into a pharmacy, you might have the same pharmacist 1 out of 10 trips in there because he's not on call when you're working.
Yeah.
Many years ago, about 35 years ago, I dated a pharmacist, and I picked her up at work one afternoon, and she was just livid. And she had gotten into an argument with a doctor about a prescription that he had written because it conflicted with another prescription that his patient was on. And my friend had been, she worked at a local family pharmacy. And she called him up and said, I can't fill this because it's conflicting with this other medication. And they got into a screaming match about it because he was offended that she was questioning his ability. And she said, fine, I'm going to tell the patient I can't fill it because she is liable. The pharmacist is liable for stuff like that. Yeah. But nowadays, like I said, and another thing, you might not be going by your local Revco or Rite Aid or whatever. You happen to be going by, they built a new Walgreens right beside your doctor's office, so you whip it in there and pick it up there because it's more convenient. So it's back on people. They have to be responsible and look at what they're taking. And my wife carries a list of all her meds in her purse all the time because if she had to go to an emergency room, I could say en route, she's got a list of all her meds in there.
Yeah. That was the other night when they gave me that antibiotic. She didn't tell me anything about it. But when I went to the pharmacy, I went to the Walgreens pharmacy. It was actually the cashier. They said, "Do you have any questions about this medicine?" I was like, "No, it's antibiotics, pretty simple." Anyways, he goes, all she told me was she made a joke at the hospital. She made a joke about sun. You couldn't be out in the direct sunlight for too long with it, or you'd experience bad burns. And she made a joke about it, like, "Oh, we're not going to see the sun for a while, so you don't have to worry about that," Anyways, when I went to the pharmacist or the pharmacy, it was actually the cashier. He asked me if I had any questions, and I said no. And he goes, about the sun, ha ha ha, and he goes, also, you can't take dairy 1 hour before or 2 hours after. You can't have dairy with this. I said, really? Which I'm a huge dairy eater. I eat eggs like almost every single day of my life, and I drink milk all the time, and so, yeah, I mean, that could have really affected me.
Yeah.
Doctor didn't tell me one thing about it. Nurse didn't tell me nothing about it when she was checking me out. So, yeah, you gotta watch that stuff. You gotta watch yourself.
That's the thing about medication is when you are getting a medication, your doctor knows what that medication is used for, but the doctor doesn't know really what side effects or anything, any kind of that information. So it's your pharmacist, because I used to be a pharmacy tech. So when your medication is inputted into the system, it will come up and say, this medication does not go with with the medications that she's taking daily, So there's like alerts. There's, and there's and sometimes, those medications can't be taken together. Sometimes you have to, the pharmacist has to call the doctor and say, "Hey, you can't do that," and they have to prescribe it something different. So usually, and it's always a good thing to use the same pharmacy that you always use.
Yeah.
That's always recommended, just because they have all of your stuff on file. They know what you're taking daily, and so, and then always, if it's a new medication, always talk to your pharmacist. Even if it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, always talk to the pharmacist, because they'll counsel you on what the medication is and the side effects and all that.
Yeah.
And I haven't worked in pharmacy for probably 20 years, but I'm sure that, all of those things still reside. I'm sure that, all the contraindications and all of that are still there. Probably more so now than ever. So
that a lot of insurance programs now, you have to, like, if you taking the same medicine over each month, and they require you to use one of the e-script, companies where they mail it to you.
Right.
That's a good benefit of doing it that way, because we've had my wife, they've called in my wife a change of meds, and it's when it's finally hit their pharmacy to be filled, they've called the doctor back up and said, "Are you sure about this?"
Mm-hmm.
Because that's on have an adverse reaction with some of the other stuff she's taking.
Right.
But like I said, people don't shop at the same pharmacy all the time, because they have a coupon, and they go someplace else, and you should. The little bit, and I'm not saying one over another, whether you have a coupon or not, you should go to the same pharmacy so they always have your records. And what are you laughing about?
Mike came in. He comes in, "Oh, cool, medical advice. Hey, I have a rash." Yeah, Mike, we can't help you with that, honey. That is something that is unhelpful. We can't. I was thinking about you yesterday too, and now you talk about a rash. I was wondering if I hadn't seen you in a while. I'm like, where has he been? Now we know where he's been. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't do rashes here. That's for Dr. Ogre up the road there.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful. Penicillin doesn't cure all those rashes like they used to.
That's true.
Morning, Mike.
So you've had your medical advice for the day.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
How's sales going?
Nah.
You're right.
Mine's better.
Yes.
I haven't had anything. I didn't get anything yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but your store's on vacation.
Well, yeah, but it was on vacation on Monday, and I was getting all kinds of sales. So looks like I'm gonna have to do some listing.
Maybe.
Get my momentum back up.
Well, duh.
That's what Nikki tells you all the time. Don't you listen?
Got a list to sell.
Yep. I did bring me some jewelry, so maybe I'll get to that.
That's what I'm working on right now is jewelry.
Get some stuff listed. You know, I forgot what it was like to have a house full of kids. And it is like nonstop. I mean, the minute they wake up is going.
What did Nikki say? How many kids does she have under 3? 3?
Yeah.
And you're going to have the morning show? Yeah, you betcha.
Right.
know,
Yeah,
right?
I think tomorrow's going to be Pajama Friday. I think that's what we're going to call it.
Did she say 3 under 3?
3 under 3.
Yeah.
God bless them.
I know. She's got
and Valerie actually thought she was going to have a morning show while she was there.
Yeah, she has twins that are they are 2. They're almost 3, but they're 2 years old. And then she has a 1.5-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. She 2 girls and a boy.
And so they're all going to be 2 years old for 1 month.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
They'll all be 2 years old for 1 month, and then the twins will turn 3, and Maddie will turn 2. Well, she'll be 2.
Yeah.
For 10 days
already.
For 10 days, I'll have 3 21-year-olds. And then the oldest one turns 22.
But you know, she does great. I mean, she was driving from the airport last night, but she does that a lot. She drives. She does errands for the shop that she works for, or that they own, and you know, so she's going to get parts, and she drags these 3 kids wherever she goes. They go, you know. So she's used to talking to them in the car, and so they're talking about the trucks and the cars, and you know, they have iPads, they have, you know, phones and things. That's just their life, you know. That's what they do. So
what kind of business do they have?
they have a car garage. They do mechanic stuff and
restoration.
You know, redo cars, painting. They do body and mechanic work. So
send me a private message with their contact information.
Okay.
I used to laugh at this woman I used to work with, and she was the secretary at FedEx, and she'd be like, "Yeah, I got to get some groceries, but my husband ain't gonna be home, so to watch the kids, so I can't go get groceries." I'm like, so take the kids with you.
I know, right?
Oh no, I can't do that. She had 2 kids. She had 2 kids. I was like, you have 2 kids, take them with you, you know. Oh no, I can't do that. I can't take them to the grocery store and grocery shop. And I'm like, why? You know, I was like, and I had met the kids. They're really not that bad of kids, you know. I mean, me and my sister-in-law, we used to take her 4 naughty boys and my 2 kids, and we'd go grocery shop and go do everything we had to do. Load them up in her minivan, and away we'd go.
Yep.
You know, and I just never understood this. No, I can't do anything. She couldn't do anything unless her husband was home to watch them.
Wow.
Or if she made it out of the office before she had to go pick them up at daycare. And I was like, oh my God, if I would have had to wait for Gary to be home or to have a babysitter, I would have never got anything done.
Yeah, you would wait forever.
Right.
I took mine everywhere but the grocery store because when one didn't think of, the other one did.
Just something you do. I mean, you know, yeah, sometimes it's difficult, but well, that's how kids learn too. That's how they learn. First of all, how your kids learn how to grocery shop. Second of all, it's how they learn how to behave in public. You know, right?
Don't you know what the manager was saying when he'd see Nikki and her sister-in-law and those 6 kids come up?
Here comes the bloody crew.
Attention. 5 employees, 2 ladies with the 6 wild ass kids are approaching the building. Prepare for a spill on aisle 17.
I always end up with more stuff in my cart than I had planned to buy, and it was because they were pulling stuff off the shelf.
Yeah, the mothers were more wild than the kids were. No, they were actually they were very well behaved in this because they knew. We'd smack them if they weren't, you know. My kids never had to be spanked because they knew I would. You know?
My kids were good with me, but somebody else couldn't take them because that's when they would act up. And my sister-in-law and I tried to tell her you cannot take both kids to the store. And they're like, she's like, oh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's like, okay, I'm trying to tell you because, like I said, what one don't think of, the other one did. And of course, she would take them down the toy aisle, and they'd want a toy, and she wouldn't get it for them, so they threw a fit. And they started hollering, "We don't know you. Who are you? Where's our mom?" You know, stuff like that. To where security was called.
Oh no!
Security grabbed the kids out of the cart because they thought Ange was trying to steal them. So, so I get called to Myers, and I have to identify my children, you know, and prove that I'm their mother. And they had Ange in another room. They were ready to call the police on her. And I said, "Yeah, that's my sister." I said, "I told you." We got out in the parking lot. I said, "I told you, you cannot take these kids." I said, "Because you've got them spoiled." So, yeah, they learned real quick.
That was a no-no, boy. I told my kids, I don't care how you act around me, but if you act up with other people, you better have your manners when you go to somebody's house or go out with somebody else. I'd kick your ass.
They got their little butts blistered. I tell you, they never did it again. They learned the hard way that they can't get away with that even with their aunt. So because mommy finds out.
Thanks, Valerie. I got it.
Okay.
My boys always knew, and they still do, and they're 21 basically. One's 21, 2 of them are 20. They go with somebody. They go out with go off with their friends and their families. They better behave themselves and act like the best they can, because there will be hell to play when they get back. I don't care if they're as old as they are. They go off with their friends' families. They better behave.
Yeah, that's what I always told my kids too.
We took my I call him my youngest one. He's the youngest of the twins. His best friend with us on a trip, and as we were leaving their house, his dad said, "Till you bring him back, he's yours. If you have to whip somebody's ass, go ahead." Throw him in the And he was like 16 years old, and he said, like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, mine were little stinkers, but they ended up being good kids. So
yeah,
I just took that.
Well, kids are kids. They do kids things.
Yeah,
you know.
They still get that look, that mom look every now and then. They know they've crossed the line, and they're like, "I'm out of here. I pissed mom off. I'm gone."
Go.
Well, we know that Sally's mom and dad, Sally and Valerie's mom did a good job of raising them, because that was the only continuing factor between the two of them, because they had different dads. So it had to be the mom.
That's the only consistent thing, right? That was so funny when we first started talking to Tom on here, and he's like, and he could have seen, he thought that they had different dads and stuff. He believed Sally. I was like,
We do.
God, no.
Yeah, I was talking to Valerie, and Valerie was looking at me like I had two heads. What are you talking about? Sally said you had a different dad than from her. And he was biracial. And he's like, no and no. We have the same father, and he is not biracial.
My dad's half black.
Yeah.
I told you.
And me not being the naive person I am, I was just, she was reeling my butt in.
Lord.
That's why I got so much swag.
Yeah. Is that from the African American side or the Japanese side?
Yeah, the American side.
You're not
Only half black, Ansley. Only half black.
Oh my gosh.
Mess.
She wrote that and then she erased it.
And it wasn't the half African American part that got me. It was just the fact that she was adamant about the fact that you two had different fathers.
Dang it.
So your next trip by Sally's house, Valerie, you need to have a long talk with her.
Yeah.
So if we take this one, it's got good.
I'll get it right.
We'll take this one. I'm sure it's alignment's good. And all that other shit.
Oh.
Hey, Nikki, I just bought a truck on Wisconsin Surplus.
Pop truck.
What kind of truck?
A Ford Expedition.
Oh, cool.
Well, you're not going to pass by too many gas stations with that.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, it's gonna be towing a trailer, so it's really gonna be sucking gas.
Is it drivable, or are you parting it out?
No, I'm driving it. I'm going to use
How
it.
much? How much was it?
I paid $935 for it, and then they charged 15%.
So it's
Wow.
1,075.
Wow.
Sweet.
It's got on the bottom where the rocker.
Yeah, it's got the American flag graphic with the protect and serve along the bottom, where the rock. I'm gonna make it into the Trump mobile. I'm gonna put big Trump on it. Be like a big Trump marshmallow heading down the road.
Oh no, you'll be like that dude that's sending the letters though with this conversion van with all the. Oh, be careful.
Oh yeah.
Line the back of it with the tarp, and then you could make a swimming pool.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I can because it's not a truck. It's like a SUV. So it's
Oh.
Yeah, the Expedition.
Yeah, so it'd be like a Chevy Tahoe or whatever.
Let me guess, Sally, you watched Father of the Year, did you?
Yeah.
That was like one of the funniest parts of the movie.
That was a great movie. That was one of the few that I watched.
What did they call the big Ford SUV? You know, it was bigger than the
Excursion. Is
Excursion is the biggest one.
Jim or
Excursion.
right now? I think it's the Excursion though.
Yeah, I think so. They got the Explorer too.
Yeah, well, it's bigger than the Explorer. This is the Expedition.
Expedition.
Oh, yeah, the Excursion's the big one. The suburban size one's the Excursion.
Yeah.
So we've
Yeah,
got the
Excursion.
Expedition, Tahoe.
Yeah, I think the Expedition is going to be like a Chevy Tahoe.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be bringing back the Bronco.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Oh,
Full size Bronco?
Yeah,
It's a full-size vehicle.
it's really nice looking too. The concept version of it's really nice.
I used to be a two-door Expedition.
What'd you say?
It's going to be a 2-door Expedition.
No, it's a 4-door.
No, I said the Ford Bronco they're bringing back is a 2-door.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to deliver flowers in a 1980 Bronco. It was awesome.
My dad used to have a Chevy Ram Charger.
Oh, Jim had that too.
And he could take the top off, and he had roll bars on it and lights, and it was all like we would go racing. They had races in the riverbed, and we would go race down the riverbed.
My first car was a 1977 Plymouth Trail Duster, which is the same thing as the Ram Charger, and that's also the first vehicle I ever rolled.
Oh wow!
My first vehicle was a 77 Vega.
Oh, right.
It was baby blue.
Yep. Oh, wow.
You know, people talk bad about those Vegas, but
they run good.
A buddy of mine in high school got one from his grandfather, a brand new one. It was his graduation present, but he got it like at the end of his junior year. And he drove the hell out of that thing. And I kept expecting the transmission to fall out of it, or, you know, just by the way he drove it. And he drove that thing for like 150,000 miles.
I drove mine until a tree fell on it and crushed it. But we had lightning hit the top of a tree, and big poplar tree, whole top of it fell on it. But it had bucket seats in it, leather bucket seats. It was a little sporty edition. It was my brother's, and he gave it to me when I graduated. So I souped it up, of course. And
was it a little car?
Yeah.
I had one of those too.
Yeah,
it looked like
had
a Pinto.
Yeah, my sister had the Pinto. Her husband was driving down the street in it, and the worst part about that is the water would get into where the hinges and stuff were. So, and I guess it was a flaw. Well, he's driving down 75. All of a sudden, the door falls off of it. He's like,
I mean, 2014, you know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think I had one of those too, and it was a stick shift, and it didn't have a second gear, so you'd have to pop it.
Mine was automatic, thank God. I mean, I could drive a stick. I just hated driving it, but mine was automatic.
It was kind of fun.
They were fun little cars. I used to drive it real fast because we have a straightaway down to the entrance of where we live. I'd drive it as fast as I could, and I'd turn into that entrance and go, slide into that. Love that little car.
My dad had a business. He was always getting new vehicles, and for 3 months of my junior high school year, I had a pickup truck, and then I had something else, and then something else, because I'd drive them for a while. Then he would give them to a crew to use. And at one time, I had a '65 Corvair.
Oh, Corvair.
Which was, for you that don't know, that's the Chevrolet version of a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah. Those things were run forever, too.
Yeah, and that sucker would hug a curve. It's just that 5 inches off the daggum ground. And there was a teacher in our school that had a Corvette, and we would we'd end up following each other to school. And I could hang with him on the curves. As soon as he got to the straightaways, I was just inspecting his rearview mirror. But I could, that sucker would hang with that Corvette on a curve.
You could like the back hatch.
Actually, you can buy these plastic trim pieces too. You could trim off that.
I'm not sure it doesn't already. Well, no, maybe not.
I would buy the trim. Oh yeah. State trim tapes.
Yeah, I mean when you open the inside of the door there, and whoever had it really pushed the seat flat. I mean, man, it's as bad as a pancake.
You talking about your new bride?
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures of it. The front seat, the driver's seat. I mean, the one side. He must only sat on one side of his butt because he's got that one side is pushed flat as a pancake.
Officer Friendly was really putting away the donuts.
He didn't miss a Krispy Kreme or something. I don't know.
How would you like your coffee? The same as always, double sugar, double cream.
Was it like a police vehicle, a patrol vehicle?
Police SUV.
It's a police auction. It was an auction.
It's a government auction. And I've been kind of looking for something like a Suburban or Tahoe, but then, you call on these ones on Craigslist, and then they all got some kind of Miranda problems that they're trying to disguise. And like this is a government vehicle, it's got a little less miles on it. They maintain it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm going to bid on it. I didn't think I'd get it, honestly.
Oh, that was like Dusty's flatbed truck. He bought from one of the towns. It had high miles on it, but he knew that it had been taken care of.
Yeah, because they have maintenance schedules. I've called on a Suburban, and it looked real nice in the pictures. I'm like, okay, it needs brake lines. I'm like, well, Jim can do that. That's no big deal. So I call, and then, it comes out. It hasn't been driven in 2 years. And I go, well, will it start? Yeah, if we put a battery in it. I'm like, no. Anyway, when they've been sitting for a while, you don't usually just have them sit for no reason. So there's going to be more than brake lines.
If you got salt, if you live in a salted area where they salt the roads, when you park the vehicle and you're not driving in salt anymore, the rust don't stop. Because once the salt, it's an oxide. It doesn't even need water anymore to rust. It'll rust all. It's got its own oxidation agent. It'll rust while it's sitting there parked. So if you park a car for 2 years and it's been driven in salt, it's going to continue to rust just like you're driving it down the highway. So it could be you had one brake line bad then. Well, now all the brake lines are probably shot. The brakes are seized up from rust. So I just rather get one
pretty good sized trailer with that.
Yeah, because I got some boat. Like I pulled a boat down with our conversion van. Like last time I went down to Kentucky. Honestly, I'd rather just drive this V8 Ford and pull down the next boat. Honestly. We hit something in Indiana, and I think we bent one of the tie rods, so it's pulling to the right, and it spooks me. And Jim don't have time to fix it, and the mechanic can't get it in the shop and stuff. I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to buy another vehicle.
Yeah, I hit a retread. It hung up. It came up underneath the truck, underneath the van. I felt it. I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe the van was still going down the road. I'm like, holy man, that was a big one. It was like the size of a suitcase, but it was foggy and it just came up on me like there was no way to even tap the brakes or nothing. I just went right over it. And after that, the thing had a front end shutter and a pull to the right, so I bent something.
I saw a retread come apart on the back of a tractor trailer truck one time, and that is a spooky thing to witness.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, I've seen vehicles, where they just tore them up. The whole rear fender, just was the bolts and stuff in that tire when it was whipping around. They just tear that inside of that wheel well, and sometimes the outside fender just tear them right up.
Yeah, I remember when you'd buy, people would buy recaps for their cars. And then the Japanese started making tires, and you could buy brand new ones cheaper than you could the recaps.
Yeah. That's what I did with my horse trailer. I needed new tires on it. We were buying them off of eBay, and they were getting shipped from Walmart, and I think they were like free shipping, like $65. They're incredibly cheap, and then with free shipping on top of it.
And they're E-tires. They're 80-pound PSI E-load tires. I just bought them for my commercial truck. They're the LT 225, so it's a smaller commercial truck tire. I just picked those up for $70. Walmart. I couldn't get them any cheaper on Amazon or eBay. Walmart. Now I check. That's the third place I check. Even though Walmart's gone socialist, but I still check them. I'll still buy their tires.
Okay.
Hey, it is what it is. You might as well own it.
I needed a new front tire for my tractor, and like our farm supply thing, they were like $110. I bought it on Amazon, free shipping for $52. It is amazing some of the stuff you can get online with free shipping. I don't know how the heck they're making any money on it, shipping a tire, but whatever.
Do you have to have a CDL for your box truck?
No, because it's not. It's only like 11,000 pounds. I think it's over. How heavy does it have to be for a CDL, Jim? $26,000.
Y'all should just rent a truck and a trailer and let Nikki come down in there and just drive it down to Kentucky for you.
Oh my God! Yeah, well, that would cost a few $1,000s to run a truck and trailer.
Wait, what'd you say?
He said you should run a semi-truck and trailer and have Nikki drive it for you.
Well, now then you can't. Well, Nikki does have a CDL, but yeah, you can't drive somebody else's if it's over 19,000, 19,005 maybe. If it's your own though, you can drive up to 26,000.
Oh, okay.
If you drive one for work, you know, if you're working at a place they're having you drive a truck, I believe 19,000 for in-state. And I think if you go interstate, it might go all the way down to 10,000.
All right, guys, I think I'm gonna end the show. If you want, I'll put the link in the chat. You guys come in, or not the chat, but I'll put it in the group, so you guys can come in and hang if you want.
But Sally, you're gonna stay awake with us, right?
No, I'm going night-night.
Her name go night-night.
I worked last night, so I didn't know.
Sally worked, so she's got to get some sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody else got sleep last night. Sally did not. So her turn.
I got a night-night.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, hit the like button and get lots of sales. Get some work done. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you also to everybody on the panel.
Well, thank you for having the show, Sally.
Yes.